Let's bring in ESPN.com's Jesse Rogers, who covers both the White Sox and the Cubs. Jesse, the Cubs' path into October was simple, right? Win Tuesday and today. Cubs beat the Pirates 8-4 and complete the sweep. They are officially in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Plenty of champagne there at PNC Park. Cubs hold the top spot in the NL wildcard, and it's looking like they'll very likely face the Padres. What kind of edge do they hold over San Diego, Jesse?
Well, they are going to play those games at home more than likely, and that's the edge because Petco Park actually in San Diego is a really good home field advantage for them, just like it is for the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So that, first and foremost, is an advantage. Also, the Cubs' secret weapon is Cade Horton. He wasn't around in April when they played the season series against the San Diego Padres. So here's a new weapon that the Padres have not seen unleashed, hopefully, at Wrigley Field. And I think that's the edge they have. San Diego can be limited on offense at times. There are moments, even with the star-laden lineup like they have gone into hibernation. I think Cade Horton is a great matchup. I'm assuming he's game one, maybe he's game two. Okay. But to me, he's kind of the X factor since the Padres don't know him and will only be able to watch him on video.
Yeah, let's talk more about that, Jesse, because Cubs pitching has been a main storyline all season long, but especially after the trade deadline, right? Interesting to see how Craig Counsell, though, sets the rotation for the postseason. How do you see him approaching this rotation? And as you mentioned, Cade Horton yesterday continuing his case for NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think he's your game one starter. I really do. I think he's proven it. His stuff is elite. There's not a lot of build-up to game one. The season ends on Sunday, wild card game on Tuesday. So I don't think there's going to be any nerves or the moment's too big for Cade Horton. I think he's your game one starter. I think they're going to line up Shota Imanaga for game two. We've seen Matthew Boyd have some struggles in the second half, especially lately, including in the clincher today on Wednesday. So I think he's your game three, if necessary, starter. And if somehow the Cubs win the first two games, well, he gets extra rest to start game one against the Milwaukee Brewers in the division series. So I really do believe it's going to go Cade Horton, Shota Imanaga, and then Matthew Boyd. Perhaps Imanaga and Horton are flipped, but that's the important part. Those are your top two starters in the best of three series.
Michael Soroka back with the Cubs on Monday, pitched 2 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts and a pair of walks. How do you see him being an impact arm down the stretch for this team?
Look, there's several guys that are getting tryouts for roles or for roster spots. He is absolutely one of them. I mean, we can lock in about 10 pitchers, right, for the postseason. They'll probably take 12 in the first round. You can adjust it in every round, 12 or 13 or 14. They're going to go with 12 more than likely in the wild card round. So he's in the mix, but he has to prove something these final 10 days or so. He doesn't have a lot of runway to do that, but he's got a chance, especially in the bullpen, not as a starter. But Soroka's stuff in the bullpen definitely plays. He just has to prove it in a very short amount of time.
So Marquise Taylor McGregor reported today that Kyle Tucker is in Tampa to see his PT group there. The left calf hasn't made any progress. What more can you tell us about his status, especially as we head into October? Is he going to be back in the lineup?
I think he'll be back for the playoffs. The key is, can they get him back before the playoffs to get him some at-bats? If he is still out 2 weeks from now, that would be very surprising for what seemed like a minor calf injury. In fact, he tried to come back from it. He was on the field at Wrigley. I saw him working out. And then all of a sudden he's shut down. So it either got worse or was worse in the first place. But for this to linger as long as it has is certainly a question mark. For him to have to go back home to Tampa to get his own people looking at it, raise his eyebrows. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does. But 2 more weeks, I would think he'd be okay. The key is, can they get him back sooner than that so he can get back to playing and he's not rusty as the playoffs begin? So it's really a question mark. I don't think anybody knows exactly what's happening. And it's evidenced by the fact that he has to go back to Tampa Bay and have his own people look at his calf, which I didn't think was that minor or was that major of an issue. But apparently it's worse than we first thought.
Jesse, my final question for you. What do you think it means to Craig Counsell to help this group make it back to the postseason?
I mean, I think it means a lot. You know, what happened coming off of the year last year where Milwaukee wins the division by 9 games. And there's a good chance they'll play the Brewers. I mean, if they win the first round, they will. And I do like the Cubs in the first round. So I think it means a lot. He was pulled down here, given the biggest salary in the league for any manager. I think he wanted to prove the fact that he could be a difference maker. And they jumped from 83 wins to what will be more than 90 at the end of the day here. So I think it means a lot for a lot of different reasons. But the obvious one is he was taken from Milwaukee and given a huge contract to do exactly this. And year one didn't work out, but year two is looking a lot better.
Cubs once again back in the postseason for the first time since 2020. ESPN.com's Jesse Rogers, thanks for the time.
You got it.